You might get a customer complaining of no sound or maybe even weak sound. So if that's the case, remember that we have the 12-volt speakers on the interior side of the top of the cabinet. So if that's the case, we could go ahead and remove this top cover and gain access to our speakers. Remember, we're going to have one for each control panel, and if we follow these wires, remember that 12 volts DC comes right off of our control panel. So what we could do is we could just unplug that with the unit powered down, and then we could check with our multimeter for 12 volts DC coming off of the control panel when the unit is alerting. If that's the case, then we know we would have a bad speaker. Now, one thing I want to point out is since there is two speakers, we could have a situation where maybe the customer isn't necessarily complaining that there's no sound, but maybe it's just weak. So what we could have is we have one speaker at the back and one at the front. Now, if you have the customers with employees on the back line that are maybe complaining that they can't hear it very well, it's just very faint, obviously we would want to go into our settings and check our volume first. That's going to be the easy one, but if that's all well and good, then we might have just a situation where one speaker is out and that's why they can't hear it very well. But another one to throw at you is that might be the case for a little while, and then maybe that second one finally went out and now they don't have any sound at all. And we actually have two speakers that are bad because they didn't really realize it when the first one went out. So that's one thing to keep in mind when it comes to a service call for no sound or weak sound. We need to make sure that we check inside the settings to make sure that volume is turned up first. And then if that's the case, and that's all well and good, we can check our speakers. So a couple items that we would want to take with us to the job site on this would be, first and foremost, would be our speaker, and as an absolute last resort would be possibly a control panel in a very rare situation.